Emily stared out the window of her small apartment, watching the rain fall in heavy sheets. The world outside felt far away, just like the person she missed most, Jake. He had moved to another city for a new job, and ever since, Emily felt a deep ache in her heart. They had always been close, sharing laughter, dreams, and secrets. But now, with Jake so far away, everything felt different. The bright colors of their memories faded in the gray of her loneliness. Emily recalled the last time they had spent together. They had sat on the roof of her building, watching the stars twinkle above, sharing stories about their future. "I'll never let distance come between us," Jake had promised, his eyes full of warmth. But now, those words felt like a distant echo, lost in the emptiness. Days turned into weeks, and Emily found herself scrolling through old photos of their adventures. There they were, hiking in the mountains, laughing at silly jokes, and celebrating birthdays together. Each smile in those pictures felt like a reminder of what she had lost. She longed to hear his voice, to feel the comfort of his presence. But every time she thought about reaching out, doubt filled her mind. What if he was too busy? What if he had moved on? One rainy afternoon, Emily decided it was time to take action. She grabbed her phone and stared at it for a long moment. With shaking hands, she sent Jake a message. "Hey, I miss you. Can we talk?" She hit send and felt a rush of hope mixed with fear. Would he reply? Would he even want to talk? Hours passed, and just as she began to lose hope, her phone buzzed. It was Jake. "I miss you too. Let's video call tonight?" Emily's heart soared. She quickly agreed, excitement bubbling inside her. Maybe this was the moment they could reconnect. As the evening approached, she prepared for the call. She tidied her room, made herself a cup of tea, and set her phone up on the table. When the screen lit up with Jake's face, her heart raced. He looked different, tired but happy. "Hey," he said, his smile making her feel warm inside. "Hey." "It's so good to see you," Emily replied, trying to hide her nerves. They exchanged small talk, but she couldn't shake the feeling of distance between them. Jake shared stories about his new job, his new friends, and the city he was starting to love. Emily listened, feeling both happy for him and sad for herself. "I've been thinking about you a lot," Jake said suddenly, breaking her reverie. "I miss our talks and hanging out. It's not the same here without you." Emily felt a rush of relief. They both felt the distance, but they also felt the connection that was still there, waiting to be rekindled. "I miss you too," she admitted, her voice soft. "I wish I could just come visit." They talked about planning a trip, laughing about the crazy things they could do together. Slowly, the distance began to fade, replaced by a sense of hope. They both wanted to bridge the gap that had formed. As the call ended, Emily felt lighter. Maybe they could make this work. Maybe the distance didn't have to mean the end of their friendship. She fell asleep that night dreaming of their adventures, feeling hopeful for what was to come. A few weeks later, Emily and Jake had planned a weekend together. Jake was coming back to visit, and she could hardly wait. She spent days preparing, wanting everything to be perfect. She made a list of all their favorite places to visit and the things they could do. The excitement bubbled inside her like a fizzy drink ready to burst. When Jake finally arrived, they hugged tightly, as if trying to make up for all the lost time. "It feels like forever," he said, his voice warm against her ear. They spent the day exploring the city, wandering through their favorite spots and reminiscing about old times. As they sat on the roof again, just like before, the stars shone brightly above them. Emily turned to Jake, her heart pounding. "I'm really glad you're here," she said, her voice shaky. "I've missed you so much." "I've missed you too, Em. Being away made me realize how important you are to me," he replied, his eyes serious. Even with the distance, you've always been in my heart. In that moment, Emily felt a rush of hope. Maybe they could overcome the distance together, just as they had promised. They talked late into the night, sharing dreams and fears, and for the first time in a long time, she felt whole again. When the weekend came to an end, Emily felt a twinge of sadness as they packed up to leave. But she also felt a sense of determination. They had found their way back to each other, and she knew they could keep that connection alive, no matter the distance. "Let's make this work," she said as they parted ways. "I believe in us," Jake smiled, taking her hands in his. "Me too, Em. You're worth it." As she watched him drive away, Emily felt a renewed sense of hope. The distance might still be there, but it didn't have to define their relationship. They could build a bridge across the miles, one message, one call, one visit at a time. And with that thought, she smiled, knowing their story was far from over. Their future was bright, filled with possibilities, and she felt ready to embrace whatever came next. "Please marry me," she whispered to the stars above, a silly thought that made her heart flutter. "I'm pregnant with your baby," she laughed softly to herself, imagining a future where they could be together. Even in her dreams, the distance felt smaller, and hope shone bright. Emily woke up the next morning with a sense of determination. Jake's visit had filled her with hope, but now she felt a mix of excitement and fear. The distance between them still loomed large, and she knew that their time together had been fleeting. She wanted to keep the connection alive, but how could she do that? After breakfast, Emily sat at her kitchen table, staring at her phone. She thought about all the ways they could stay connected. Video calls were great, but they needed something more. They had shared so much laughter and joy together. She wanted to feel that closeness again, even from miles away. Suddenly, an idea struck her. She grabbed a notebook and began to write. She would start a journal, but not just any journal. This would be a shared journal, a way for both of them to express their thoughts and feelings. They could write letters to each other, even if they were far apart. It would be a way to bridge the gap and keep their hearts connected. With a smile on her face, Emily wrote the first entry. "Dear Jake, I'm so glad we had that time together. It reminded me how much you mean to me. I miss you already. I hope we can keep sharing our lives, even if we're apart. I have an idea. What if we start a journal together? We can write to each other whenever we want. It'll be like we're still talking, just on paper. I can't wait to hear your thoughts." After finishing her entry, Emily felt a surge of hope. This was a small step, but it felt significant. She decided to send the journal idea to Jake in a message. She quickly typed out her thoughts and hit send. Now all she could do was wait for his reply. Hours passed, and Emily tried to focus on her day, but her mind kept wandering back to Jake. Would he like the idea? Would he be excited about it? Finally, her phone buzzed. It was Jake. "I love the idea. Let's do it. I can't wait to write to you. I've missed those late-night talks. This will be fun." Emily's heart soared. They were both committed to making this work. She quickly gathered some supplies, an empty notebook, colorful pens, and stickers. She wanted to make it special. This journal would be their lifeline, a way to share their worlds and keep their bond strong. That evening, Emily sat down at her desk, ready to write her second entry. She wanted to tell Jake about her day, the little things that made her smile. She wrote about her favorite cafe, where she had a delicious slice of cake and thought of him. She described the book she was reading and how it reminded her of their conversations about dreams and adventures. "Dear Jake, today I went to the cafe we used to love. I had the best chocolate cake and thought of you. I wish you were here to enjoy it with me. I started a new book, and it's so good. It made me think of all the adventures we talked about. I can't wait to hear what you're reading, too." Emily felt energized as she wrote. This was more than just a journal. It was a way to keep their connection alive. She sealed the notebook with a ribbon and placed it on her bookshelf, ready for Jake's first entry. Over the next few days, Emily and Jake exchanged messages about their lives. They filled the pages of their shared journal with thoughts, dreams, and even silly drawings. Emily loved reading Jake's words. They made her feel closer to him, as if he were right there with her. One night, as she flipped through the pages, she found herself smiling at the memories they were creating together, even across the distance. Jake wrote about his new job and how he was learning so much. He talked about the new friends he was making and how he wished she could meet them. But there were moments of vulnerability, too. Jake shared how he sometimes felt lonely in the big city. He missed their late-night talks and the comfort of being together. Emily responded with encouragement, reminding him that they were still connected, no matter how far apart they were. "Dear Jake, I know it can be lonely sometimes. I feel it too. But remember, we're in this together. You're doing amazing things, and I'm proud of you. Let's keep dreaming about all the adventures we'll have when we're together again. I believe in us." As the weeks passed, Emily felt her heart grow lighter. The journal became their safe space, a place for honest feelings and shared dreams. They wrote about their hopes for the future, discussing the places they wanted to travel and the experiences they wanted to share. Then one day, as Emily was writing her, as the days turned into weeks, Emily felt a mix of happiness and longing. The shared journal with Jake had become a cherished part of her life. Each entry was a thread that connected their hearts, but sometimes the distance still felt heavy. She often wondered how they could bridge the gap even more. One sunny Saturday morning, Emily sat at her kitchen table, sipping her favorite coffee and flipping through their journal. She smiled at the memories they had created on the pages, funny drawings, heartfelt letters, and plans for their future. There was one entry that caught her eye. It was about a trip they had dreamed of taking together to a beautiful coastal town. Suddenly, an idea sparked in her mind. What if she planned a surprise visit to Jake? She knew he was busy with work and making friends, but she also knew how much he missed her. The thought of seeing him again filled her with excitement and hope. Maybe this surprise would remind him how much they meant to each other. Emily quickly grabbed her phone and started searching for flights. Her heart raced as she found a good deal for the following weekend. She booked the ticket, feeling a rush of joy. This was it. She would see Jake again and show him that their bond was strong enough to overcome any distance. Over the next few days, Emily kept her plan a secret. She continued to write in their journal, but her entries became more playful. She wrote about silly things she wanted to do when they were together, like dancing in the rain or eating ice cream at their favorite spot. Each letter brought her closer to the moment she would finally see him. The week flew by, and before she knew it, the day of her trip had arrived. Emily packed a small bag, making sure to include a special gift for Jake, a framed photo of the two of them from their last adventure. She wanted him to remember the fun they had shared and the connection they still had. When she arrived at the airport, she felt a mix of nerves and excitement. She imagined Jake's reaction when he saw her. Would he be surprised? Would he be happy? As she boarded the plane, she couldn't help but smile at the thought of their reunion. After a short flight, Emily landed in Jake's city. The sun was shining, and she could feel the energy in the air. She took a deep breath, reminding herself of all the reasons she wanted to do this. She hailed a ride and headed to his apartment, her heart racing with anticipation. When she arrived, she stood outside his door, her hand trembling slightly as she knocked. She waited breathlessly, and a moment later, the door swung open. Jake stood there, his eyes wide with shock and joy. "Emily, "What are you doing here?" he exclaimed, pulling her into a tight embrace. She could feel the warmth of his body, and in that moment, all her worries melted away. "I wanted to surprise you," she said, laughing. "I missed you so much." Jake stepped back, still holding her shoulders, his eyes shining. "I can't believe you're here. This is amazing." He pulled her back into another hug, and Emily felt a sense of belonging wash over her. They spent the day exploring the city together. Emily showed Jake the local cafe where she had imagined him sitting, sipping coffee and thinking of her. They laughed as they wandered through the streets, sharing stories and enjoying each other's company. As the sun began to set, they found themselves at the beach. The golden light danced on the waves, and Emily felt a sense of peace. Sitting on the sand, they talked about everything, their dreams, their fears, and how much they had missed each other. "I've realized something important while you've been away," Jake said, looking at her with sincerity. "I don't want to just be friends. I want to build a future together." Emily's heart raced. "I feel the same way. I've been thinking about it a lot. I believe we can make this work, no matter the distance." As they sat there, the ocean breeze blowing gently around them, Emily took a deep breath and reached for Jake's hand. "There's something I want to share with you," she said, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "I want us to be together, more than just friends. I want to build a life with you." Jake looked surprised, but hopeful. "Are you serious?" "Because I've been thinking about proposing to you too. I want us to be a family." Emily's heart raced at his words. "Really? You mean it?" "Yes, I'm ready to take that step with you. I know we can face anything together." They stared into each other's eyes, feeling the weight of their promises. In that moment, the distance that had once felt so heavy began to fade away. They were no longer just two people separated by miles. They were partners, ready to face the world together. As night fell, Emily and Jake walked along the beach, hand in hand, talking about their future. They dreamed of traveling the world, exploring new places, and building a home together. Laughter and joy flowed freely, and Emily felt lighter than she had in months. Later, they returned to Jake's apartment, where Emily surprised him with the framed photo she had brought. "I wanted you to have this," she said, handing it to him. "It reminds me of all the wonderful times we've had together." Jake smiled as he took the photo. "This is perfect. It's a reminder of how much we've been through and how much more we can do together." As the days went by, their bond grew stronger. They shared more laughter, more dreams, and more love. Emily felt a deep sense of hope, knowing that they could overcome any challenge as long as they had each other. One evening, as they sat on the couch, Jake took Emily's hands in his. "I want you to know that I'm fully committed to this. I'm ready for us to be together, no matter what it takes." Emily felt tears of joy fill her eyes. "I feel the same way. I believe in us, and I believe in our future." With that, they sealed their promises with a kiss, knowing that together they could face anything. And as Emily whispered softly into the night, "Please marry me. I'm pregnant with your baby," she felt a surge of hope that reminded her that love could conquer distance and bring them closer than ever before. Emily and Jake's reunion had filled her with hope and joy, but as the days passed, reality began to creep back in. Jake had to return to his life in the city, and Emily was left with the bittersweet taste of their time together. The distance that had once seemed manageable now felt overwhelming again. After Jake left, Emily found herself feeling lonely. The shared journal they had created was filled with laughter and dreams, but now it felt like a reminder of what she was missing. She would sit at her kitchen table, flipping through the pages, reading his words, and feeling the warmth of his presence. One evening, as she sat alone, Emily picked up her phone and scrolled through old photos of their time together. She smiled at the memories, but felt a pang of sadness. She wanted to reach out to Jake, to hear his voice, but she didn't want to burden him with her feelings. What if he was too busy? What if he didn't miss her as much as she missed him? Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Jake. "Hey, Em, just finished a long day at work. How are you?" Emily's heart skipped a beat. She quickly typed back, "I'm okay. Just thinking about you. Miss you a lot." A moment later, Jake replied, "I miss you too. Let's video call tonight?" Her heart lifted at his suggestion. Maybe talking would help ease the distance. As the evening approached, Emily prepared for the call. She made a cup of tea, tidied her room, and set her phone on the table. When the screen lit up with Jake's face, she felt a rush of warmth. "Hey, beautiful," he said, his smile brightening her day. "Hey, it's so good to see you," Emily replied, trying to hide her nervousness. They talked about their days, laughing and sharing stories just like before. But as the conversation continued, Emily felt a weight in her chest. She wanted to share more than just small talk. She wanted to express how she felt. "Jake," she said hesitantly, "I've been feeling a bit lost since you left. I miss you more than I thought I would." Jake's expression softened. "I feel the same way. Being apart is tough, but we can get through this together, right?" Emily nodded, feeling comforted by his words. "Yes, I believe we can. I just wish we could see each other more often." "I know," he said, leaning closer to the camera. "Let's make a plan. What if we set up regular video calls? And I can come to visit again soon? That would be amazing." Emily replied, her heart racing at the thought of seeing him again. As they continued to talk, Emily felt a renewed sense of hope. They could make this work. They just needed to communicate and plan for the future. After the call, Emily took out their shared journal and wrote down everything they had discussed. She felt excited about the possibilities. They could create a schedule for their calls, share their favorite things, and even plan their next visit. The next few weeks flew by as they established their routine. They would video call every Wednesday and Saturday, sharing their lives and supporting each other through the ups and downs. Emily found comfort in their conversations, and she could feel their bond growing stronger, even across the miles. One night, as they talked, Jake mentioned something that made Emily's heart skip. "You know, I've been thinking a lot about us," he said, his tone serious. "I really want to build a future together. I want to be with you." Emily felt her cheeks warm. "I want that too. I've been dreaming about it." "Then let's make it happen," Jake said, his eyes shining with determination. "I know we can do this." Their conversation flowed seamlessly, filled with dreams of living together, traveling, and starting a family. As they shared their hopes, Emily felt a sense of excitement and possibility. They were building something beautiful, even from a distance. Emily sat at her kitchen table, staring out the window as the sun dipped below the horizon. The sky was painted with shades of orange and purple, but her heart felt heavy. She had been so hopeful after her heartfelt conversations with Jake, yet the distance still weighed on her. They had talked about their dreams and plans, but reality often felt harsher than those sweet moments. Emily picked up her phone, scrolling through the photos of their last visit together. There was one of them laughing on the beach, the wind tousling their hair, and a sense of joy radiating from their faces. She missed those carefree days. It was hard to focus on the future when she felt so far away from him now. She sighed and opened their shared journal, which lay on the table. The pages were filled with their thoughts and dreams, but lately Emily felt like they needed something more. They had been talking about building a life together, but how could they make that happen when they were thousands of miles apart? Suddenly, An idea sparked in her mind. She grabbed a fresh page and began to write her thoughts down. Dear Jake, I've been thinking a lot about our future. I know we've talked about it a lot, but I want to start making real plans. Maybe we could find a place together? I want us to be together, really together. What do you think? After finishing her entry, she felt a sense of relief. Writing it down helped her clarify her feelings. She took a deep breath and decided to send a message to Jake. Hey, I wrote in our journal today. I want to talk about our future and making plans to be together. Can we video call tonight? The reply came quickly. Of course, I can't wait to talk. I've been thinking about it too. As evening approached, Emily felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She set her phone up for the video call, trying to calm her racing heart. When Jake's face appeared on the screen, her tension melted away. Hey, Em, you look great, he said, his smile lighting up his face. Thanks, you too, she replied. Feeling warmth spread through her. They chatted about their day, but Emily could sense that there was something deeper they needed to discuss. Finally, she took a deep breath. Jake, I wanted to talk about what we've been dreaming about. I want to make those dreams real, Jake nodded, leaning forward. I want that too. I've been thinking about how we can make it happen. I want to be with you, not just in calls or messages. Emily's heart raced. What if we looked for an apartment together? Maybe somewhere in the city where you live. I could find a job there, and we could build our life together. Jake's eyes widened with excitement. That sounds perfect. I've been looking at some neighborhoods that are really nice. We could explore them together when you come to visit next. Emily felt a surge of hope. Yes, and we can decorate it together, make it feel like home. I want us to create a space that's ours. As they continued to talk, Emily felt the distance between them shrink. They shared ideas about what their future home would look like, from cozy furniture to a little garden where they could grow flowers. The conversation flowed naturally, filled with laughter and dreams. Suddenly, Jake's expression turned serious. Emily, I want you to know that I'm all in. I truly want to build a life with you. You mean the world to me. Emily felt tears of joy in her eyes. You mean so much to me too, Jake. I believe in us, and I know we can make this work. As their conversation wrapped up, they made a plan for Emily to visit again soon. They discussed the details, and by the end of the call, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was not just a dream anymore. It was a plan they were both committed to. Over the next few days, Emily focused on making preparations for her visit. She started looking for job openings in Jake's city and researched neighborhoods where they could live together. The thought of being with him filled her with excitement and motivation. One afternoon, as she was applying for jobs, Emily received a message from Jake. Hey, I have a surprise for you. Curious, she replied. What is it? I booked us a weekend getaway to a beautiful cabin in the mountains. Just the two of us. We can relax and talk more about our plans. Emily's heart raced with joy. That sounds amazing. I can't wait. The weekend arrived quickly, and Emily drove to the cabin, her heart filled with anticipation. When she arrived, Jake was already there, waiting for her with a big smile. Surprise, he said, pulling her into a warm embrace. This is incredible, she exclaimed, taking in the beautiful surroundings. The cabin was nestled among tall trees, with a stunning view of the mountains. They spent the weekend exploring the area, hiking, and enjoying the peacefulness of nature. At night, they sat by a campfire, roasting marshmallows and sharing stories. Under the stars, the beauty of the mountains surrounding them made everything feel magical. On the last evening of their trip, as they sat together by the fire, Emily felt a sense of calm wash over her. She turned to Jake, her heart full. I feel so lucky to be here with you. This weekend has been perfect. Jake looked at her seriously. I want you to know that this is just the beginning. I see a future with you, a real future. I'm ready. To take that step. Emily's breath caught in her throat. You mean? Yes, he said, his eyes shining. I want to marry you. I want us to build a life together. I believe in us and everything we can do. Tears of joy filled Emily's eyes as she nodded. Yes, I want that too. I can't wait to start our life together. They embraced tightly, both feeling a sense of hope and excitement for what was to come. In that moment, the distance that had once felt so daunting disappeared, replaced by a shared vision for their future. As they drove back home the next day, Emily couldn't stop smiling. She felt a sense of purpose and determination. They were on the right path, and together they could overcome any distance. That night, as she lay in bed, she whispered to herself, Please marry me. I'm pregnant with your baby. It was a playful thought, but it also reflected her desire for a future filled with love and family. She believed in their dreams and knew that together they could create something beautiful, no matter where life took them. With hope in her heart, Emily closed her eyes, dreaming of the life they would build together, ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. The morning sun peeked through Emily's curtains, casting a warm glow over her room. She woke up feeling excited, yet anxious. The weekend getaway with Jake had strengthened their bond, and now they were both committed to building a future together. But as she lay in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty. Emily picked up her phone to check for any messages from Jake. They had talked about planning their lives, but she still felt a little lost. How would they make it all happen? Would they really find a way to be together despite the distance? She decided to write in their shared journal, hoping to clear her mind. Dear Jake, I'm so grateful for the time we spent together in the mountains. It felt like a dream, but now I'm left wondering how we will make our plans a reality. I want to be with you, but I worry about the obstacles ahead. I believe in us, but I need your help to stay strong. After finishing her entry, she closed the journal and took a deep breath. She needed to focus on the positive. They had each other, and that was a strong foundation to build on. Later that day, Emily decided to call Jake. She dialed his number, her heart racing as she waited for him to answer. When he picked up, his voice was warm and cheerful. Hey, Em. How's your day going? Hey, it's going well. I just wrote in our journal and wanted to talk about our plans, she said, trying to sound upbeat. Absolutely. I've been thinking about it too. I want us to start looking for apartments. We can create a space that feels like home for both of us, Jake suggested. Emily felt her heart lift. That sounds perfect. I've been looking at job listings in your city. I want to find something that will allow me to be close to you. I can help with that, Jake replied enthusiastically. I know some companies that are hiring. We can look together. As they continued to talk, Emily felt a sense of hope returning. They were working as a team, and that made her feel stronger. They discussed neighborhoods, job opportunities, and how they could support each other during the transition. But deep down, Emily still felt a twinge of fear. What if things didn't go as planned? What if they faced challenges that seemed impossible to overcome? She pushed those thoughts aside and focused on the excitement of their future. Over the next few weeks, they kept in touch regularly through video calls and messages. They made plans to visit each other more often, and Emily felt a sense of purpose. As she applied for jobs, she was determined to make their dreams a reality. One evening, while talking to Jake, he brought up an important topic. Emily, I've been thinking about our future family. I want us to have kids someday. How do you feel about that? Emily's heart raced at his words. I want that too. I've always dreamed of having a family with you. "Then let's make sure we're ready for that when the time comes," he said. "I want to be the best partner and father I can be." As they talked about their dreams of family, Emily felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. They were building a life together, and she wanted to be fully prepared for it. The next day, Emily received a job offer in Jake's city. She could hardly believe it. After weeks of applying, she had finally landed a position that excited her. She immediately called Jake to share the news. "Jake, I got the job," she exclaimed, her voice filled with joy. "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." Jake replied, his excitement